Hey everybody, and welcome to this channel update. I hope you're all doing very well. I'm doing good. We're going to go through in a minute through the channel stuff, but yeah, just wanted to say hi to everybody here, and I hope you're all doing very well. I'm all good. We'll go through some life stuff, I guess, and some because it affects the channel and stuff like that as we go through. But we're approaching Christmas now. Only really just over a month away as I record this, so I don't know if that's exciting or not. I think Christmas is very much going to be quite a muted affair this year, in terms of what people are allowed to do. Certainly in the UK anyway, probably very different if you're in other parts of the world. Yeah, we'll see kind of what happens from there, really. Let's talk about the channel a little bit to begin with. See all the fancy editing and stuff like that. It's from my live streaming, which I do hope to get back into now. We've been working our way through Assassin's Creed Valhalla, through Watch Dogs Legion, through No Man's Sky, a little bit of Football Manager, kind of in there as well, as we go through. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about Skyrim as well. There's new episodes of that coming. And yeah, I'm relatively happy with the way things are going on the channel. Certainly, views are very up and down all over the place, which is not really unexpected. I think a lot of my videos are quite slow burners. For example, say like Assassin's Creed Valhalla episode 1 there, that you'll kind of see is on 841 views at the minute. Now, when I probably did about 100 views in the first day, so a lot of my videos tend to slow burn their way a little bit higher, but yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? At the end of the day, I totally lost a lot of momentum when I had to take the break the beginning of 2019, unfortunately, and it'll probably be quite a slow slog to kind of get back to that momentum, but kind of always said from the beginning that I enjoy making the videos. I enjoy the process of making the videos, and really that's kind of what I'm here for, rather than the views, which are kind of I kind of always look at it as like, on my videos, the views kind of, they're one thing, but in reality I often only think of it as I have a very small audience of maybe like half a dozen to a dozen people who actually really enjoy my content, and I'm kind of quite happy with that in a way. I know the number could be a lot higher in real life, or it could be a lot lower, I don't know, but yeah, I generally enjoy the process of making these videos. It doesn't take me any time, really, because I would be playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I record it, I upload it. There's no editing involved, so I don't lose any time from it, really. And it's nice to do that. Nice to kind of play through these games, and I intend to finish Valhalla story anyway. I don't know, I think I'd finish 100% of that game. It's pretty big. Watch Dogs Legion, again, I intend to finish the story as well. I think it's probably a little bit shorter than Valhalla story-wise, but it's still quite a big game, and a lot of fun as well. And I think that will really be a bit of a sleeper game for a lot of people, which they will come back to in a few years' time and really look at it and go, oh, should I give Watch Dogs a go? And then they'll try and go, this is actually a lot of fun. And it is a good fun game. I wouldn't say it's like up there with like a masterpiece or anything like that, but I saw a lot of review scores kind of give it a 7 or 8 out of 10. I think that's very fair. I would at the minute probably give it about an 8 out of 10 from what I've played. Not like a kind of 9 or 10 kind of like really must play kind of thing, but certainly a game where it's like yeah, you should definitely try and check this out, especially if you're into this sort of thing as well. And I've really enjoyed it as a whole. Um, Valhalla as well, really, really enjoying so far. I'm about 22 hours into the game, so way ahead of my recordings. I have lots more recordings, probably up to part 20, I think, on the recordings, and really, really loving the game. I've seen a lot of kind of mixed opinions on it, which is interesting and not unexpected. People enjoy different things, I think, out there, and that's totally fine. Um, I think if you know what you I think if you liked Origins, you liked Odyssey, you'll really like Valhalla. If you're one of those who really didn't like the new direction which they've gone in with Assassin's Creed, then be careful, I would say, because while they have brought back some of the more kind of assassiny elements, there is still very much a focus on you being a Viking and the combat, which I have to say the combat is a lot of fun. It's more fun for me than Odyssey was. There's a more variety of enemies. There's more moves you do. The weapons feel better, I think. And as a whole, I like the setting better than Odyssey. I liked Odyssey. It was a beautiful game. But I'm always going to be biased when things are set in England. And while it's not completely set in England, obviously, a large majority of the game is, and I really enjoy that. It's a beautiful game, although I wouldn't say it's a huge step up from Odyssey or even Origins, but there are definitely tweaks there. And I think as a whole, they've addressed what has been one of my biggest criticisms of Ubisoft games, which is that they make these beautiful worlds, and yet you only seem to be able to travel about 10 feet of them before a quest or an item to find is come up. And there are much bigger spaces in this game to enjoy the landscape and enjoy the traveling, I think, which is going to be for some people. Don't get me wrong, there's still fast travel and stuff like that. And there's still lots of collectibles, which the collectibles actually mean something now, which is kind of good. When the whole settlement building thing is a lot of fun. I always enjoy that sort of stuff in games. I think it was Assassin's Creed 2 where they kind of did a bit of that with your villa. I think you had to upgrade it stuff, and it just makes the, shall we say, the busy work around the world feel a little bit more meaningful than it did in some other games out there, really. And yeah, I think it's a really good game. It's probably my game of the year so far. I know the Game Awards came out, and I'll be doing my own kind of game of the year kind of thing. I want to get a bit further in Valhalla before I do that. 22 hours probably isn't quite enough to judge it. But I do think it's probably my game of the year so far. Cyberpunk obviously comes out in December, which usually the cutoff point for like game of the year is actually kind of December. So that kind of will go into like next year's, I guess. Although, I mean, it's a weird one with that game, isn't it? Because I think like they needed those Game of the Year awards for Witcher 3 to really push it into people's mainstream. But I think Cyberpunk is much more in there. So I don't think they're too worried about missing out on Game of the Year awards, if indeed it is a Game of the Year worthy, which by all accounts of what I've heard and seen, it certainly is a fantastic game and something I'm looking forward to playing a lot. We'll see when that kind of launches, when it comes out, what we're doing. But that's right up my jam, kind of first person open world RPG. Yeah, I'm all up for that. Definitely. There's some really like cool games coming out soon. I want to try out the Immortals game from Ubisoft, Phoenix Rising, I think it's called. That looks really good, very Zelda-esque as well, which I'm hankering for some Zelda. I know Breath of the Wild 2 is coming soon, and that really interests me. I don't have a Switch at the minute. I have a Switch Lite, actually, so I can't record on it. But when Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, I will get a Switch. Just thinking about it now, going, I wonder what the supply of Switches will be like. I just have this feeling like there's a Switch upgrade coming, like a main Switch upgrade coming, especially with the next gen consoles, and I don't want to pull the trigger too soon on that. And also, I don't know exactly when Breath of the Wild 2 is coming. Let's face it, they delayed Breath of the Wild quite a lot. We just had this new Hyrule Warriors like game come out, which I'm not going to play. I might play off camera, maybe give some thoughts on it, but for me, it's very Dynasty Warriors kind of thing, and that's not 100% my jam, to be completely honest with you. So I will probably give that one a miss. I'm sure it's probably a cool game. It's the prequel essentially to Breath of the Wild. So from a story point of view, I'm interested, but I might give it a skip and just maybe watch a playthrough on YouTube of someone else's or something like that, because I'm not sure about it at the minute. Maybe I'll read some reviews, watch a bit of gameplay, and make a decision there. But Breath of the Wild 2, I'll be all in for. Don't worry about that. Far Cry as well next year we've got coming. So I think we've got some really cool games coming out, which is really good, because it kind of brings me on to my other point, which is that I'm not really going to be working for a while, most likely. For those who don't know, I run a cinema. It's my full-time job. I love it. It's been an awful year. I'm sure it has for many people. But yeah, it was awful when we reopened, because it was very, very quiet, and that's not really what I enjoy about working in cinema. I like the hustle, the bustle, the numbers, the people coming in, the full screens, just that kind of industry I really enjoy. And when you're doing 20% of that, it's painful. We were going to go down before the lockdown in the UK to just three days a week, so Friday, Saturday, Sundays. Now they kind of decided, after what was a kind of pretty quiet half term in October, that by the looks of it, things change obviously a lot. By the looks of it, we probably won't reopen again until March. Wonder Woman is coming out in December, but kind of the feeling is that it might not be strong enough to actually bring people out in my particular area where my cinema is. We're still discussing it though, so even if it did, we'd only be open probably for the 2 weeks of Christmas, and that still wouldn't open in January, I'm pretty certain, at all. And then February, depending on how things go, we'd probably look at the half term. I don't know if they have half terms in other countries, but in the UK, a half term is basically a week off for the kids midway through your school term. And for cinemas, it's usually quite busy, because obviously kids have got to do stuff. Especially the October and February ones are usually very busy, because it's wet and cold outside, and so the kids can't go outside. So cinema is the logical thing for people to do. Obviously, with the pandemic, things are all over the place. Obviously, there's a lot of hope on the horizon, light at the end of the tunnel with vaccines, but the reality is that we don't know how that's going to work. We don't know how effective. I mean, we know how effective the vaccines are, because we're told, but we don't know how effective it will be to distribute them, to what effect that will have. It won't be the entire population. There's so many things to go into with it, that I don't have a lot of faith in the British government at the best of times, and during these worst of times, I certainly don't have any faith in them to be able to deliver a vaccine in a timely, effective, efficient way. So, it's going to be a hard slog this winter, but hey, I've got video games to do. This channel has obviously been vitally important for me personally during lockdown, to keep me busy. I do other things as well, don't get me wrong. I'm not here on my computer all day long. But in terms of something which actually feels like work, and I don't mean that in a bad way, because I actually enjoy working. I mean that in something that makes you feel productive, gives something which hopefully helps other people, something which is productive and helps society, I guess, if that's not too bold a statement. It sounds a bit soppy, but something to do that benefits people. I guess this is really useful for that. I've been looking to see if I can get a part-time job. My company said it was okay to do that, but my God, there's I think I've applied for 50 jobs, very much kind of minimum wage jobs. I don't want to take jobs away from people who need them. So the way it works in the UK is I'm furloughed, which means I get 80% of my pay. It's enough for me to live on. Don't get me wrong. I would prefer to be getting 100%. I would like a job for a couple of days a week to help top up that money, and also to give me something else to do in a productive way. But there doesn't seem to be that much out there. Or maybe people don't take you quite so seriously if you're applying for minimum wage jobs and you're a business manager of a cinema. It's maybe that goes in the bin. People aren't that interested. But I've been applying and looking for things to do, just to keep me active, I guess, out and about. And my work have said that that's okay to do that. I would be paying, like in the UK, if you take a second job, you pay 45% tax on that second job. So effectively, I'd be mostly just paying it to the taxpayer. But in a way, I also think that that's fine, because I'm also contributing in that way to pay tax. So it's more for something to do, I guess. But again, I don't want to take jobs away from people who need jobs. I know there's a lot of people who are just unemployed, so I'm trying to be careful with what I pick, the most undesirable jobs out there, maybe, to pick, or something which I know I can contribute to. So I haven't really applied to like supermarkets or anything like that, because I know a lot of people need that kind of like those more regular hours and things like that. So we'll see. If I don't get one, I don't get one at the end of the day. If I do, then I keep me ticking over until whenever we reopen, I guess. Might even look maybe in the new year if there's some volunteer work. But I know a lot of places still with like volunteer work are have had a lot of people applying, and also it is, people don't want to take in an influx of new people when there's a pandemic around for good reasons. So even though you might want to help in some areas, it's actually, people are not really looking for that much help right now. So it's a tough one, but we're all looking out there, I guess. If you are looking for jobs, and you are struggling, hold in there. I'm thinking of doing a video. So I've been a manager since I was about 22. So that's a long time. That's like, wait, how long is that? That's like, it's about 17, 18 years now. I've done a lot of job interviews over the years, and I was thinking of making a video to give some advice on people on job interviews and job techniques and CVs and things like that, to try and help people, because I know a lot of younger people, especially, or people who have maybe had a job for a long time and then maybe lost it because of this pandemic, are struggling with new processes and a new way of recruiting that a lot of places have. I've had a lot of different jobs in my life, I guess, and had a lot of interviews within jobs, for promotions or different positions. And, there's, applying for jobs is quite it used to be you'd hand in a CV, you'd walk in a shop and hand in a CV, and they'd give you a call and tell you, ask you if you could start on Monday. But nowadays things are a lot different. At the minute, obviously telephone interviews are very big, and that can be quite daunting for some people. And face-to-face interviews are conducted with masks and 2-meter distances and all this kind of stuff to make sure that's all kind of safe. Or even Zoom interviews as well are obviously a big thing, via video conferencing software. So it's an interesting thing. So I might do something on that to try and maybe, if people are interested in a non-ASMR kind of way, just in a kind of a way that gives some hints and tips, I'll probably jot down some ideas and see where we go from there. But I guess from a channel point of view, it does mean that there will be regular content coming every day, out there, whether you like it or not. I've got Football Manager on the go as well, which I'm really enjoying. The 2021 version of it. It comes out actually in about 3 days officially. It's beta at the minute, but I haven't really encountered many bugs. I don't know if I'm quite lucky, but people were saying Valhalla was bug ridden, and I think I've had 2 bugs in the game. Only one of which was I caught on camera and is actually quite funny, and the other one was I think sliding down a hill and my character kind of got stuck and just started vibrating, and all I did was fast travel and it reset it. Watch Dogs Legion as well. I've had a couple of crashes in Watch Dogs, a couple of crashes in Valhalla, but nothing more than probably I would in other video games, and Football Manager I haven't really had any issues yet with, so yeah, can't complain from there really. We'll see. One thing I did want to kind of highlight as well for people is the American Truck Sim episodes, which are going up on Patreon. So I wanted to. I know it kind of people when they see Patreon, they're like, "Oh, it's a paywall. That's disgusting, or whatever." But there's 2 ways of looking at it. The way I look at it is I do generally around, say, 10 videos a week for free, totally free for people to see and watch. I have over 2,000 videos on my channel, which are free for people to look at. Some people choose to contribute financially to me through Patreon, and in my opinion, they should get something for that. As much as probably people just do it out of the goodness of their heart, I think they should get something out of it. So the new Colorado DLC is going to be exclusively for channel members. So you can be a member on the channel. If you have YouTube Premium, you actually get a free membership to a channel, which you can use. Hi. A bit like with Twitch Prime, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you get a free Twitch Prime membership you can use. And on Patreon, it's $1 minimum, which will get you that. And I'll have at least 1 video a week on there. I might start doing 2 series on there. We'll see how we go. And definitely going to play through some American Truck Sim, probably Euro Truck Sim when that comes out with the new Iberia DLC. I don't know if that's this year or not, but that'll go up on there. And whereas before I've done it where there's, say, like a 30-day delay, they won't be going on my channel. So effectively the way to watch them is with Patreon, And I feel okay about that value premise. I feel okay about $1 a month to get essentially a minimum of 4 videos, but more likely probably 6, shall we say, 6 to 8 videos a month. So people can bemoan, putting things behind a paywall. I don't essentially see it as that, but I know that's some people's argument with Patreon. But that's something for me to reward the members of Patreon as much as anything. And there are some other interesting videos on there which I've done in the past. So I did a drive to work video where there's no talking or anything. It's just literally me strapping a GoPro to the front of my dashboard and driving to work. And I quite enjoy the sounds and sights of that because I have a really nice drive to work. Actually, it's quite long as well, but it is nice in terms of scenery. So that's on there as well. So the videos will be on Patreon and for members. So whether you're a patron or a member, you can watch those videos essentially. What's quite annoying about YouTube is that you can't upload the same video twice. It picks it up and it's a copy and it won't let you do it. But when you set a video for members, so I'm trying to think what I've got. If I go into my studio, I'll show you. When you set a video for members, where are we? Here, members. You can't then put that on Patreon as a link because only members will be able to watch it. So I had to slightly edit this version, which essentially you can see it's 5 seconds longer. I put a slide at the front just saying thank you, Patreon members, and unlisted it. So that you can only watch it with the video link, which is obviously on Patreon. Obviously, it's not monetized either. and I'll just show you the front here, I guess. As a result, that yeah, so that's the only difference essentially between that and we watch. And then you've got my funky truck as we go trucking around Colorado. So yeah, that's kind of available, and there will be more videos kind of going up there. Financially wise, as I said, people are amazing. I think like a channel as small as mine, to have people financially supporting me is incredible. And obviously, people out there who watch my videos financially support me to an extent, especially those who have YouTube Premium. Many people don't know this, but like the does it actually split it here? Sorry, yeah, you can see here like so estimated revenue. I don't know a lot, but £8.67 YouTube Premium. Now, the numbers of people who watch on YouTube Premium are a fraction of like the others. So, if everybody, let me tell you this: if everybody on YouTube who watched YouTube had YouTube Premium, then there would be. Firstly, you wouldn't have adverts, and they're bloody annoying. Secondly, so many people would be able to do their channels full time. Like, it would be amazing. We just hit 2,000 views actually, which I probably should have mentioned at the beginning of the video, but there you go. 2 million. That's quite the difference there, isn't there? Which is incredible, like absolutely incredible. I forget sometimes. I'm like, oh God, yeah, 2 million. That's a lot. That's a high number. But you essentially on YouTube, what you can work it out to get is you get around about $1 for every view. Now, not all of these views are monetized. If they were, say, you worked out to be roughly like £2,000, like YouTube Premium would probably triple that. And I'm a small channel. Like people who have mid-sized channels and can't support themselves financially would be able to go full time if everybody had YouTube Premium. Of course, people don't want to get YouTube Premium. I get it. I think one of the problems is that I use it a lot because, firstly, I hate watching adverts on YouTube, but secondly, the picture-in-picture on your phone is really good, and it doesn't let you do that otherwise, which I know is sucky, but this is where we are, aren't we? You have to pay for things in life. I share around my subscription with different channels that I like, my membership, shall we say. But it doesn't give you like much more than that. What is it? I don't know. Probably shouldn't show my card details. It is blanked out though, so good luck trying to find that. But yeah, so it costs you like £11.99 a month, £11.99 a month. And it doesn't really get you like the originals. I think the only thing that probably people really liked was things like the Cobra Kai stuff and things like that. I admit I barely watched any of this stuff. It's very much your kind of I don't know really. I always look at it and go like, oh, it's that kind of it's not aimed at me, shall we say. It's aimed at a much younger kind of audience. And doesn't really interest me that much, to be honest with you. But I don't know, maybe it's pretty good. I don't know. But it gets you that anyway. So yeah, we'll see. Let's go back to my channel on there. So yeah, 2 million views, incredible. 24,000 in the last month. My subscribers go all over the place all the time. I don't look at it anymore on the daily basis. I look at it on a monthly basis because, yeah, it's weird. But yeah, I think we've kind of tried to be fairly consistent. I had 3 days there where I didn't upload anything. That's odd. Maybe because that was pre-lockdown, wasn't it? I think, and then we've started really kind of banging into it now. We're back into lockdown in the UK. The lockdown apparently ends on the 2nd of December, I think it is. I think it's the 2nd of December. Let me have a look. Wrong way. Or 3rd. 2nd or 3rd, anyway. And it really wants to, because I guess this is the other big news, is that I'm actually getting married in December. So I really don't want there to be a lockdown because that would really suck. We'd have to move the wedding. But yeah, it was something that... so I was supposed to be getting married in July next year. But myself and my fiance, we decided to move it up to this year because this year's really sucked for us. I know it sucked for everybody. I don't kind of dissuade that. And from a point of view of it sucked, it hasn't been disastrous in that people we know and love have died. But, you know, we, from where we were, say, in January, February to where we are now, you know, the pandemic's cost us a lot. And it sucks. But we decided to try and finish the year on a high, basically, and get married. So that's what we're kind of doing. Hopefully, I won't give you the exact date, but we do have a bit of time spare from when the proposed lockdown ends to when our actual wedding date is. Maybe I'll post a picture or something on here. You can see. But yeah, it's obviously pretty exciting. And we still have our honeymoon booked for July next year. So we don't technically have a honeymoon or anything like that. But I think that makes more sense anyway, because we, hopefully by July next year, we will have a much more the country will be in a lot better shape. I think it will. I think a lot of people I've spoken to who are much smarter than me and much more well versed on this type of stuff are relatively confident that by spring next year there will still be measures in place for things, but a lot of things will be more relaxed. And then by the time you get through to summer with the warm weather coming, etc., hopefully the vaccine's been around for a while, we will really see that things are starting to get back to what some semblance of normality. And then a lot of people have said that, a lot of experts have said that by winter next year, we'll be back. Basically, things will be as they were. I don't think things will ever be exactly as they were. I think people are certainly now a lot more aware of this type of thing. It's probably a good thing in a way, because a lot of illness is unnecessarily spread by people just not following normal hygiene procedures. I think we'll see a lot more people still wearing masks, whether it's on public transport or in places with lots of other people, or more importantly, if they are not feeling too well. So for example, if you have a cold or a bug, but you're well enough to still get up and about, wear a mask, because at the end of the day you are protecting other people, regardless of whether it's coronavirus or whether it's just a cold or whatever. Colds can be serious for some people who have autoimmune diseases, or weak immune systems from other issues they have. So I think it's important to take lessons from all of this, with how we're working and the way we live our lives. So we'll see anyway. I mean, as I said, it's going to be tough for the next few months for everybody. My heart goes out to people who have lost people due to this, before their time, for people who have lost livelihoods, jobs, businesses, homes, even because of this. It's awful. Were there things we all could have done differently? Yeah, absolutely. To have helped, absolutely. And I hope people are learning now and realizing that the things that one person does, some people think it doesn't matter if I do this, I'm one person. but actually it really does. We've seen so many stories where I saw a story, I think it was in Bolton, about a guy who came back from a holiday. He didn't self-isolate. He then went on a pub crawl and was responsible for spreading it to hundreds of people, if not thousands, by the time you look at, 2, 3, times down the ladder, the chain, as it were, of spreading. And from one person just being like, I don't want to follow the rules of self-isolating for 2 weeks, I'm going to go out on a pub crawl. And like, it is a real thing where it really does make a difference, what you personally do, your personal responsibility, and the way you act, the sacrifices you make. And to some people, those sacrifices are great. There are a lot of people who haven't seen their family this year, and there are some people who love doing a hobby or a sport or have a job they love doing, and they can't do it because of the pandemic, and they're sacrificing that. And that's a hard thing to do, and it's a hard thing for people to give up for a few months, let alone what will likely be over a year, really. So yeah, it's a tough one, I think. People it's a world-changing event, on a scale that we haven't seen since probably World War II. And I mean world-changing in terms of culture, in terms of everything, So, and we will feel echoes of this for many years, decades, but it was also probably a bit of a wake-up call, I think, in a way, that a lot of the ways we did things was not working in society, and also a wake-up call that a lot of people have found that what the important things are in their lives. They probably thought something was important to them, or they I don't want to get all philosophical on you, but you kind of sit down and go, what have I really missed over the last sort of 6 months? What have I really, that I haven't been able to do? What have I really missed? Was it going out and getting wasted, or was it actually just spending time with my friends and family? Was it being able to go and do that sport, or was it the people I do that sport with, or or whatever it was? Was it doing, it's made me realize how much I really like doing my job, and how much I did love my job. And there were days when I was like, I fucking hate this job, as everyone has. But the reality is now is I'm like, those days are few and far between, and what I wouldn't give to go back to that kind of normality, doing well, and even the hard days I would take, because they were still better than what they are now. So we just got to hang on in there, basically. That's the way you do it. You hang on in there. You trust the medical experts, listen to advice that people are giving, follow the advice. We found, I think, a lot of people don't like being told what to do in life. It's not something that was unsurprising to me personally. There's a real kind of, I don't know, there's certainly social media, the internet has led to people distrusting experts' advice, because everyone's a doctor now. You can go on WebMD and you know exactly what's wrong with you, right? Well, if anyone's been to a doctor, I went to a doctor, this is a few years ago now, and I went to a doctor because I had a really itchy hand. I didn't know what it was. It only itched like in the evenings, but it was really itchy, and it was causing like sores on my hands. And I went to the doctor, and he said to me immediately, was like, so you've obviously been online. What do you think it is? And I was like, I haven't been online. He was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? He was genuinely surprised that I hadn't got onto like one of these WebMD websites to try and diagnose myself. And I was like, that's why I've come to you, because you know what you're doing. And he was genuinely surprised that that was a thing that someone had done. So obviously, what doctors nowadays are just used to people coming in and telling them what is wrong with them without, you like, leave it to the guy who studied for years at med school. Like, he'll tell you. And he diagnosed me with what was wrong with me, sent me to go get a cream, applied the cream. I was right as rain within, a couple of days, 24 hours almost, really. So, yeah, it was that, nowadays I think is an issue that people have where they do distrust people. And the distrust, I think, comes from fear. People are obviously very afraid right now. And that does cause people to act irrationally. But at the end of the day, if a doctor says to me, do this helps. For example, wearing a mask, it's a big thing in the UK for some weird reason amongst a small minority of people who feel like it's infringing upon their rights. I find it a weird one. It's a mild inconvenience at worst, and at best, you could help prevent the spread of a potentially deadly disease to some people. But there is this kind of distrust that governments are trying to control people, and we've obviously seen anti-vax movements, come across widely. And I just feel that people are a bit naive to the fact that, firstly, if people wanted to microchip you or control you in some ways, they could just, there would be so many easier ways to do it. Plus, they already do it a lot already. Posting conspiracy theories on websites is a way of people controlling what people are thinking, right? It's all the same thing. It's all propaganda for something, whether it's true or false. And secondly, people living free is a choice you make, absolutely, but not at the expense of other people who you live with. And people in this country chose to leave the European Union. I'm getting a bit into politics here, so apologies for that, but people in this country chose to leave the European Union through a democratic referendum. Whatever you want to think about that was what happened. However, because they didn't want a different country choosing their rules. But then they also don't seem to want this country to choose their rules. They just want to be able to do what they want. And I think people have to realise that if you live in a civilised society, there are rules you have to obey to be able to do that. If you don't want to, then there are lawless societies out there where you can go and do whatever you want. You probably won't last very long because someone with guns will come and take everything off you. But rules are in place to protect people as much as control them. And I use control in a term where it's a positive way, because without law and order, you do have a lawless society. You don't have control over that society in a sense of people who, there's a vast majority of people who will just go about their daily life and be nice to each other, and a small percentage who would just run riot at the thought that they can do anything. And unfortunately, that small percentage would cause chaos. And we have prisons for those sorts of reasons, but there's obviously much milder cases where people just turn around and go, well, I can't actually just, go walk in this shop and steal all the money because it is against the law. So I guess I'll have to go get a job and earn some money. So, I feel like people's arguments on those things are often flawed, and I'd love to see this society that people can set up where people are just free to do what they want. It would be carnage. Anyway, I've completely gone off track here. We're 45 minutes into this channel update, and I've been waffling for at least a half an hour of that. just to let you know really about that kind of stuff. Oh, and one final thing, I have a playlist actually. It's towards the bottom of my homepage. It's called Unlisted Videos, Random Stuff. I have added more videos to that. I can't remember if I posted about it. There was a load of other videos I did. Some Foot Manager, Satisfactory, Total War, Warhammer. There's a little bit of The Last of Us 2 there. Some Fallout 76, Mountain Blade, State of Decay on there. It's just stuff from series which I never finished. There's a lot of Fallout 4 because I did a lot of Fallout 4 videos. And either because the series was just not doing well at all, and so I played something else in favour of it, but I still posted those videos I'd completed in here. Obviously, I haven't gone through and titled them correctly, so a lot of them are just untitled crap. But they're there for you to kind of look at and watch if you want to. Why is there a 4-hour Diablo 3 one? Is that a stream of some kind, I think? God. An hour and a half truck simulator there. Destiny stream. So yeah, there's stuff from, there's a lot of Odyssey there as well, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Cool stuff for you to watch anyway. But yeah, if you're interested, it's all there. Till next time, guys, thank you for watching. It's been my pleasure, and stay safe